Hello, and welcome to the BTMS show. How's everyone doing out there? Alrighty. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is the BTMS show, a new talk show where we invite folks from Philadelphia Nightlife to come on and talk about their experience and history in the nightlife scene. And proceeds for this show go towards paying our guests and also towards funding the Philadelphia Performance Artist Relief Fund, which is a fund for artists who are currently affected by the COVID-19 outbreak and pandemic, because a lot of us worked in bars and clubs, and a lot of those are currently closed. So if you are able to donate, there's a suggested donation of $5 for this show. And our Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal are on the bottom of the screen here. So if you would like to donate and you are able to, please do so. We will be splitting that amongst our guests and the emergency fund. So tonight we have two amazing guests who I'm really excited to chat with tonight because I haven't seen them in so long. They produce some really amazing alternative, spooky, just like weird and lovely events like Cutthroat Queens and Hooked on Onyx. So please welcome our guests, Onyx, Ondyx, and Beary. Hello.
Hello.
How are y'all doing?
Good. Well, baby.
Lovely, lovely. So where are y'all joining us from tonight?
You go first, B.
Okay, I'm in West Philly.
And I am in Massachusetts.
West Philly, great.
House.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I think your mic might be on a delay there, hun.
Is it really?
We just love technology.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, it's just on a little bit of a delay, and I think it'll be fine.
That's okay.
Well, I hope there's no one out there who's really annoyed by lips moving not in sync with sound, because it'll probably drive them a little bit nuts, but hopefully everyone will be able to deal with it.
When I perform, it's the same way, so.
Oh, it's back.
Yeah.
And we're back. So
off to a great start.
You mentioned that you're in Massachusetts right now. So I heard you had a little bit of a wig shortage happening right now.
I do. I'm in a wig drought currently. And so this little number I have on my head right now is a Party City wig that has been transformed a couple of times. I really learned how much you can do with the wig. It can go up, it can go down, left or right.
So one of the nice, I don't know if y'all have tuned into the show yet, but one of the nice things is we have this little software that allows us to see live comments up on the screen. And so we have our first comment of the evening from Samantha Satan, and that is, Onyx has always been a little slow.
Yeah.
Ooh. Great, starting off on such a positive note.
Samantha, I wish I could say you're wrong, but
it happens. So how have things been for y'all since all of this started?
I'm gonna say
you go first.
You go first. Oh, fuck you. Okay, I'll go first. It's been okay. You know, I've been Massachusetts at my parents' house has been definitely a different vibe than I'm used to. I think I'm the only queer person in a 200-mile radius, it feels like. So my morning walks are very interesting. It hasn't been bad. You know, the food's free, so I can't complain.
That is always a plus.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. It's been all right. It's so funny because I've always said, like, my preferred lifestyle is that of an active senior citizen. So, like, I'm good. I can, like, get a good night's sleep, go for a walk, read a book. I'm set, you know. But it is interesting because it's like, you know, I definitely think the thing that we're all missing the most is like connection and community, you know, and that's like why things like this have come up and why so many online things are happening, because like we all miss that connection and community with like people like us, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like actually this is almost easier than seeing people like 6 feet apart.
Yeah,
Because
Totally.
like I've had a few friends like stop by to like drop something off or pick something up from my house, and like it's like a handoff and then like a wave from afar, but your brain is like they're right there. Give them a hug. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you're like, I know, brain, I can't do that. That's terrible. But
Definitely.
yeah, but like your brain sees a computer screen. It's like I can't hug this. We're just talking through a screen. So it like almost feels easier to do it like through technology. You're less
Definitely.
And it's then definitely like, I don't know what like so like with one of my jobs, we've been incorporating Zoom a lot. I don't know if y'all have been Zooming, but like I was just thinking the CEO of Zoom right now must be like making billions.
Oh, I saw an early like meme that was like the people from Scooby-Doo, and it's like, who's really behind COVID-19? And it was like them revealing it, and it was just the Zoom logo. It's like, yeah, like.
But that's like learning all these like technologies. Like I just love that Zoom. You can do a thing that live edits your face and gives you kind of like a filter.
The beauty filter, yeah.
Zoom has that now?
Yeah.
Of course it does. I mean, you save time not doing makeup in the morning before work, then you can just pop on the beauty filter.
Oh yeah. Because you just like, have the mic off, the video off, and they're like, "Are you there?" I'm like,
well, there's actually something called Zoom fatigue. Like when you know you're on camera and you're like conscious of that, it like it feels more tiring than a face-to-face or phone call conversation.
Yeah.
It does. Like even like now I'm just like looking at myself. I'm like shoulders back. Like
yeah, my eyes are probably down more than like at the camera because I keep looking at myself and like, am I in frame? Yeah. How does my hair look? How does my makeup look?
You have to tell yourself, eyes up here, babe. Like, come on.
I had like the single hair right in front of my eyelash problem. I was like, oh, let me get that out of here. I just love that. It's like the best feeling in the world when it like just goes into your eyelash.
Hardest problems I face is I quickly ran out of like I use Mayron foundation, which I got at the Philly Theater Supply, which I'm currently not in Philly anymore. So I've been having to use like Target foundations. You know, Maybelline, girl, you're holding me together, but...
Have you tried out Ulta? Because the Ulta moisturizing foundation sticks are what I use. I was actually going to try like the ColourPop ones recently, but I went to go buy it and like ColourPop is like sold out of foundation. So I was like, I guess I'll just order these Ulta sticks again. They're pretty great. So whatever. And they're like $7.
None of it's open. Ulta's closed. You can't even like curbside pickup.
They do online delivery though, because I literally ran out of foundation 2 weeks into it, and I ordered from Ulta and got my foundation sticks. So it was an emergency. They don't even have like my contour color, so like I had to buy like something similar sight unseen, and I was like, I hope this works.
Yes, that's the thing. I just released my case. I'm like, what's the palest one? That's it.
Yes, literally. Well, also like have you like noticed like cool and warm on foundation shades are like the opposite of what they should mean?
Yeah.
Like cool means you have red undertones. Like red is a warm color. I don't understand, but I guess it's like the cool tones down the reds. Like maybe that's, I don't know. I don't understand, but I'll have to ask Samantha. We got some more comments in here. We have Carly Honey saying your mugs look so good, y'all. Oh, thank you. Thank you. This whole thing. Oh my God. Literally, and then Jeremiah left a similar comment. Love you all. Look stunning. Can't stay but watch the whole thing later. Wait, great. Let's reminder everyone, this whole show will be available on YouTube later. It's currently streaming live on YouTube. I prefer YouTube.
Nice.
But yeah, like this, everyone I've sent a picture of this mug to has been like, "Oh, you did the Crystal Method lips," and I was like, I haven't been watching this season, so I didn't realize that was a thing. But I'm glad that, like,
That's what
to be compared to a good person.
It's funny because I wouldn't have called it that until you said it, but now I can't unsee that.
I'm like the same as you, Beary. I haven't watched a single episode this whole season.
I just want RuPaul to be better as a person.
Well, don't hold your breath.
I'm like, I appreciate all the things you've done for our community over the years, but like, could you like let trans people on your show, please?
And now that they have like Drag Race, Celebrity Drag Race, Uncut, Canada Drag Race, I'm like, what did y'all take like a month off or something? I don't know.
Yeah. They're churning out all-star seasons like every year or two, and it's like, do you have enough to sustain this?
And the winners are probably like, well, fuck me, I got 2 weeks in of winning.
Yeah, I can't really fit much bookings in between the next season, I'm sure.
You know, I do feel bad for everyone, like the cast of this season though, because this is right now the time money-making period, and
and leading into Pride season.
Yeah, and I am gonna watch the finale though, just because I need to see what RuPaul looks like. Like I need to see how this is.
Watch she's like, I'm social distancing with my makeup artist and my wig person.
Yeah,
because they're essential employees.
Or she just won't be in drag.
RuPaul being out of drag for it.
Yeah, like just like a nice Klein Epstein Parker suit.
Yep. I mean, what do you think the last time that RuPaul's done her own makeup?
Oh God. Well, there's one episode in season 3 I heard on Alaska and Willem's podcast where Ru had to do her own makeup. And Google it. It's completely obvious that she did it. It's like a mess.
Well, you know what? Like if I wasn't like really much of a makeup artist and I never really got into it and I just did my own thing and was like, this is fine. And then I was like on national television all the time, I would also hire a makeup artist and I would feel no shame about it.
Exactly.
Like I would, I mean, if you can afford it, like, bitch, I wish I could just sit there and take a little nap and.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, I'm ready. Like.
Although, so it's been a while since I've had someone else do my makeup, but the last time I had someone do my makeup, I like kept flinching when things were getting near my eyes. And so like, I'm not sure if that would still happen because I have trust issues or if it would like not happen because I'm used to having things in my eye. Like, who could be sure?
Is it my like issues? Or just things near my eye.
Or both. Will it be conflicting? And I'll be like, ooh. Being pulled in 2 different directions. What's going on?
Literally. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, so how did you two get started in the nightlife scene?
Well,
and how long have you been in the scene?
Yeah, it's funny. I think we got started separately and came together. I first like stepped into the nightlife scene just as like an observer and like going to shows back in like 2011, maybe like 2010. I'm both older and more delinquent than people think I am, and so I've been like around for like 10 years. But I started like doing so like I've been around for a minute. And it's funny that you like brought up Drag Race because I was just thinking about like when I came around, like it was before what I call the RuPaul's Drag Race baby boom happened. You know, it was like seasons 1 and 2 of Drag Race were on, and like it wasn't really a huge thing yet. And so like, but then I've like watched as like it's grown and evolved and changed, you know, ever since that became a big thing. And then I think I was at like one of your first shows, wasn't I, Onyx? Like, I was like
the very first time I performed ever.
That's what I thought. I was like, that was that, and I will never let you forget it.
And where was that? What venue and what show was that?
It was at a venue now dead known as Eye Candy back in the day, before they had some certain issues. And it was at Drag Arena.
Mm-hmm.
and which is now Dragorama. And I remember I did not know yet that you had to set makeup. I think I just thought you let it air dry or something. And Aloe, I walked through the dressing room and Aloe just goes like, come here. And I remember I had like tied a bunch of pearls together and like had duct tape on my nipples, and then I did Carly Rae Jepsen this kiss.
Oh god, just looking like an extra from Rocky Horror.
We've all been
great.
there.
It was great. Well, what's funny is that I was like,
but I'm having fun.
Yeah, well, and I was like, I don't know who she is, but she looks like a good time.
And I was like one of the people that's like, I can do a split. I could not do a split. But
that's like honestly the best friendships start with like, who is this crazy bitch?
Oh yeah. Well, I think that I'm pretty sure Devil Drag was a thing by then. And yeah, Devil Drag's been around for like 6 or 7 years. We started out in Kensington, just like in a random warehouse, like
that show started that way though.
Yeah, truly subversive, truly like grungy and everything.
Although like from a producer standpoint, I almost love those like homemade shows more than I love a bar.
Totally, yeah.
Venues never have air conditioning. That's the one thing.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, but
the Vox Populi, I have literally been like, I think I have to go to the hospital. Like,
it's hot in there.
Oh god,
It's too much. But yeah, I'm also like an older person that people tend to not realize that, and part of that is because I moved to Philly 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I like have been part of gay scenes in other cities prior to being in Philadelphia. And then I also only started drag about 1.5 years ago. So everyone's like, oh, you're like a baby queen. And I'm like, I am a baby queen, but at the same time, I'm also like not young.
Yeah. Totally.
I'll be 33 in a few weeks, and everyone's like,
oh,
what?
Nice. Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm a bitch. I just like moved around a lot.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you.
The skin of like someone who's 85 and someone who's 14 all at the same time, and it's very confusing.
My skin is dry as hell. It is dry. It is awful. But it looks young, I guess. So there's that.
Back up.
So how did the two of you get together and start producing events together?
How did we meet, B?
Well, so Onyx had been in Devil Drag for like in the cast for a while, because like that's part of like very much, if you've ever been to Devil Drag, it's like kind of just like an anything goes sort of show. It's like you can be like, you don't have to, there's no theme, like there's no like Britney versus Beyonce sort of stuff that like was a thing back when Devil Drag started a lot.
It's like
it's just kind of
versus each other.
Yeah, it's like, it's really just like anything goes. We do like, you can be like a weirdo, you can like, we have like Masochist who does burlesque and like on like full on ballet numbers, like we have, it can be anything. So Onyx, like obviously anybody that's seen her perform knows like is very much like of the Devil Drag brand. So I fairly quickly invited her to be part of the cast and host the show. But I think we just like teamed up kind of because our minds work similarly, but in a way where like and I'd done a one-off show of Cutthroat Queens at the Front Street Dive at the Victoria Free House, and it was a really fun show. And then Onyx and I like teamed up to bring it to Taboo, and that's sort of like when we started co-producing officially together. But it's great because we kind of like, the things that I'm strong at are the polar opposite of the things that Onyx is strong at, and we kind of make this perfect team.
Well, like, that's the thing with pairs.
Before we will write out for Cutthroat Queens, will write out every single sabotage and like a description for me, and then like print it out. And we always print out 3 copies because I lose one of them.
Yep.
I mean, of course, like there's so many things to carry as a drag queen. You're bound to drop something or lose something or forget something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But did you notice I like leaned in to hear, but I'm wearing headphones, so it did absolutely nothing.
Oh, technology.
But
honestly,
down to see if you're like looking at something and you want to see it, you like turn the music down.
I can't see. I've totally done that. Like, or like you're
totally.
like driving and you're lost, and you're like, I need to focus. Turn it down.
Yes.
But I think some of like the best producing like duos though are like you described. It's like the like you have to be like similar enough to like communicate on another level where like you don't even have to like talk, but you have to be different enough to like balance each other's like skill sets.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly me just being like, Onyx, focus.
I love producing with organized people because I am
that organized person.
You need that though. You need the yin and the yang.
Yeah, totally.
Without B, I would just be talking and.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been unleashed on a stage with a microphone before, and I'm like, wait a second, I need to stop. Who's reeling me in? Whose job is it?
I was born in 1994, everybody.
Baby. But we got a few comments. Little Piece said, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Little Piece.
Good morning, good evening, good noon, good night. I think I said the right.
Yes. Good morning, good noon, good morning, good evening, good noon, good night. Yes, that's the order. I think it has to be an order, right? Is that a thing?
Is there order?
Does time mean anything anymore?
No. Buff Chick says, Barry, you look so fucking good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was inspired by some of the spooky queens in Philly to do something a little bit out of the box. And last week I did, Adam was on, keeps using their former name. Diva Baby was on the show. And so I was like, I'm going to do like clownish makeup. And I did these huge lips. And I was like, I'm never drawing small lips ever again.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've recently just been doing gigantic lips. And it's once you go big, I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't think I could because I have a beard, so I was like, it's not going to work. And then once I figured out I can, like, I saw a queen named Diana Fire do this where she painted her mustache and like went over the mustache, and I was like, ooh, that's a good idea. And I stuck with that kind of clowny, like pointed lip, and then everyone's like, you look like Crystal Method, and I was like, I don't know who that is, but I've heard she's great, so I'm not offended. Okay. Oh, we actually have a question from Little Piece. What are some of producing in Philly's greatest challenges?
I'll say that probably one of the biggest challenges is creating something that's different from everything else that's going on, because Philly was full of so many shows and like so many producers, and there's just so much going on. Like on one night you can go to like 3 different things.
There's literally 4 shows happening tonight, like right now.
Like, right. Yeah, like even when
I was gonna. I was like 3 is a slow night, I think.
Which reminds me, if you're watching this and you have a day job, feel free to donate to this so we can make sure to pay our queens well tonight. Just plug that in there real quick.
Yeah. It's hard because like there are so many challenges in general for producing, but I think like specifically in Philly, it's interesting because like there's so many amazing performers, and it can be really like, I think that sometimes like the hardest thing to do is to say no, because like, you know, like I'm regularly approached by a lot of people who I think are super talented who are like, I want to be in your show, but like if you book 27 people for your show, that's not going to go well, you know, and you're not, you know, it's going to be like, you know, so there's the limitations of what you can do with a show are challenging. But also, you know, at the same time, you, like Onyx was saying, like you want to do something different. You want to do something that's going to get people there and that like is going to attract a crowd. So yeah. It's interesting.
It definitely is. And then B, I want to apologize for saying queens because you're not a queen.
Oh.
I just it's like an old
I'm royalty and I will bow. I am royalty. You can curtsy. It's fine.
shit.
I know so many drag monsters and drag kings and drag performers.
yeah.
Use queen, and I still catch myself saying queens sometimes, and I'm like, that's not even accurate to most of the people that I hang out with.
Yeah. I go by all terms. It's fine.
Love that. I used to go by all terms, and then everyone defaulted to he, him, and I was like, nope, all masculine.
No,
I was like, let's just everything masculine terms, and we'll just call it a day.
Yeah, totally.
But fun fact for the both of you, the first show that I ever saw in Philadelphia was Devil Drag.
What is it? Wait, what venue?
Old Taboo.
Okay, I was like, because it's gone to a couple.
So I had not been to a drag show in Philly. I didn't really know there was a drag scene in Philly.
You got a great introduction, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't like. Someone take me to a drag show. Like I just joined Stonewall. I had just started getting involved in Philly, and so I forget who even took me, but someone brought me to Taboo and said, there's a drag show tonight. And I was like, cool. And so I left that show and I was like, Philly drag is weird.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know. I'm not sure what I just watched.
You have Pilar on the mic, just smoking a cigarette.
But actually, this was the only drag show I'd seen in Philly, so part of me kind of assumed that all drag in Philly was devil drag, and that there was no pageant queens or anything. And I was like, this is just what drag is.
Yeah,
really,
no.
Philly really is a city that we do have everything.
Oh yeah.
We really hit every fucking piece on the spectrum, which is great.
Yeah.
When people are like, what show should I go to? I'm always like, well, what are you looking for?
For real.
Yeah. I wouldn't suggest bringing your mom to Devil Drag, but
your mom.
Yeah, well, that is true. There was one Devil Drag fairly recently. It was around the holidays, I think.
We had a bachelorette party.
There were all sorts of people who random people who were clearly there with their parents who were out there from out of town who were like, let's go to a club and see a drag show, and it was Devil Drag, and we were like, oh, this might not be the show for you guys.
In the front row, I was hosting, and they were not having any of it.
None of it.
You can leave. You don't have to stay here. You can go.
Well, I think that's kind of funny because a lot of the bachelorette parties are a drag show, and I'm like, this is not the same kind of drag show that you're used to.
No,
even for genderqueer and other shows that I do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just I don't really want a bunch of straight people invading this space, actually.
I'm like, as long
as totally.
Not money.
Yeah, if you tip and you're respectful and you are there for the show and loving it, I don't care who you are, come to the show. But there's some folks who just they're not exposed to, I guess, queer spaces, and so they act a fool. And I don't know what it is, but I've noticed that maybe it's just bachelorette parties. Bachelorette parties, they get really drunk.
Very
sloppy falling over, what is consent drunk. And it's
funny because part of that my straight female friends who have gone to bachelorette parties have explained this to me. And a big part of it is that at normal bars, at bars that are not gay bars, they don't pour nearly as heavily as gay bars do. It's the gay pour is very much a thing. And so they all go out knowing they're my limit is 2 drinks or 3 drinks, and they're drinking 2 or 3 drinks in their first one. And so then they're 2 or 3 in and they're just done. And I was like, oh, that is a thing that I just kind of always forget about.
But also that just goes to show they don't have a guide. They didn't bring a local gay to show them around.
The local gay.
As a tour guide.
Get a beer because that's a regulated amount.
Well, because I've brought friends. I had some friends from college visit, and I brought them to Tavern, and I was like, before we go inside,
let's go over the rules.
Be respectful. This is what you can expect. These are what the different floors are. They pour heavy. Wait between drinks. Wait to see if it hits you. Like, it is strong. And they're like, okay, this one friend did not believe me, and she got so drunk, and she was like hungover for 2 days. And I was like, I warned you. And she was like, I thought you were joking. And I was like, why would I joke? I was very, very serious.
And like, you can just taste it too. I remember my one straight friend visited me. He's like, I want to see like you in your element. I'm like, okay. And they had a frosé, which if you do like the math on a frosé, it's about like a taboo frosé. It's about like 3 glasses of wine in it. If you like really. So if you have 2 of those, bitch, I'm rocking.
Well, the other thing is like, I don't know if quarantine or like social distancing and stuff is having a positive or a negative effect. Ascribe which one to whichever one you want on my tolerance. Like, is it getting like stronger or weaker?
It's probably dropped, which I guess is a good thing, but
well, because one night I had like 1 glass of whiskey and I was like, I'm feeling myself, and then the other night I drank like almost an entire bottle and I was like, I'm feeling myself. There's no difference. I was like, I don't understand.
Either way, you're feeling yourself. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
just loving it. Oh, we have a few more comments.
Oh, good.
So Samantha says, Devil Drag was my first paid gig. Forever grateful for y'all.
Oh, yes.
That's my mom.
Samantha, we miss you.
Samantha's my mama. She taught me how to do my makeup.
Yes.
So I give her so much credit because honestly, she showed me how to do like a natural eye, and then like doing these big graphic eyes became so much easier just knowing like what the shapes are supposed to be. It was wild.
Totally.
And then another comment from Samantha, do y'all have a favorite venue?
Ooh. I mean,
Hey and Me are my favorite venue.
Yeah, I was like, whoever's got a budget for us. No, I do. I mean, I do like Taboo. I'm very glad that there's, like that the former eye candy space is still being used as a gay space and like a queer space because it is a good space, it's got lots of things going on. I was definitely concerned for a while that maybe it would just get like torn down and turned into condos, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like whoever's like Onyx said, whoever's paying us.
The like one thing about the like new Taboo space that I really, really wish they would change, and I understand that it costs a lot of money and that this like maybe they have this on the list for like long term. So like I do not fault the bar for not doing this. It's just like if I could have a perfect world where things just were easy to fix. I wish that the stage on the second floor was on the front wall and not on the side wall.
Yes.
Well, I can say that there is a stage change coming.
Thank God.
Is it going to be, are the stairs going to be more than 2 inches wide?
Well, that is like, since working there, I've been like, listen, like we've got this much room to work with. I don't know. Why?
That stage is a liability lawsuit waiting to happen.
Eye Candy made that stage. They're the ones that built it, and I don't know.
Why?
Ready, fuck drag queens. Watch this. They're so narrow and so tall.
Oh my God. I once went up those steps in 7-inch platforms, and I thought I was going to die.
Oh, every time we have a special guest, like a girl or whoever, I always tell them, I'm like, you gotta go try the stairs. Like, no, I'm good. I've been a lot. I'm like, no. Like, go try.
I insist.
Oh shit.
Yep.
They're like, I've been to venues. It's I
was like, what?
But yeah, I think, like, so before I was educator and drag queen, I went to school for engineering, and so part of me is just like,
nice.
This is basic stuff we learn in civil engineering. Like, because if the problem with the stage being on that wall, beyond it being narrow and like the steps being very small, like the stage is a death trap on its own. But even if they built it in the same position, the problem is that the crowd crowds at the front of the stage. And then as it goes back, it gets like more like frayed out. And so when it's on that wall, you have this crowd of people that's like getting close to both sets of stairs and pressing up against the bar. But if you went this way and had the bar over in that corner where the stripper pole is, you could actually like the crowd would be pushed to that far side of the room. And then the part with the stairs would allow people to walk freely by, and the bar would have like a little bit more freedom. Or take the bar out of there altogether and make them go to that little backstage area bar. Like there's so many things I would love to renovate. If I had an unlimited budget and free will to do whatever I want, I would just do so many things.
That's like every time like we have like meetings there, you know, it's like, what do you want to change? Like, we should do this, this, and this. Like that's like $2 million in renovations. Yeah. I was like,
oh yeah, I'm fully aware of how much it costs, and no, it's not going to happen to exactly what I want. But it's just like we're just dreaming here.
Yeah.
Oh
no!
Wait, I was like, I was like, I don't know if I got lost or you guys got lost, but
I'm always a little lost.
Well, I was like, we're all a little bit lost, aren't we?
Bretzo says it wouldn't be taboo if you didn't have a chance to break an ankle.
Exactly. Like old or new, there's always a liability.
Your mom was not the old taboo. I was electrocuted. Is a lot more than you think.
Yep. Yeah.
My favorite thing about Old Taboo was when they replaced the sound system, and it was wonderful. And then they moved to the new location. Oh, sorry, I have another hair like in my eyelash.
All good.
When they switched to the new building, they like I guess took out the new system to move it over, and so all of a sudden, like for the last week, the sound system was really bad again.
Yeah. I remember Lilu Lenore and Tricarious. Shout out to Lilu, fantastic burlesquer. And I remember the sound system was like the 2 PA speakers that were stuck. And she came up to me and she was like, my mix is really quiet. And I was like, oh, fuck. And you just didn't listen to any of it. But like so professional, just did the whole number. It was dead quiet.
I mean, I've seen some digital shows like that because like the microphone settings were not right. So like you can like faintly hear like this tinny like music, but like they're like basically lip syncing to nothing. And you're like, I wish I could hear this.
Yep.
I bet this is a great song choice.
Totally.
Oh, I missed this one. Little P said, I went to Devil Drag open stage on my 21st birthday at Front Street Drive. Life's changing.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh, the open stage was really great. I haven't done that in a minute, but it was like, that was like 5 years ago or so. Oh and God. It was basically like open signups, like open call. Anyone that wanted to could sign up, and every show was a fundraiser. So we would like donate to different charities in the area. And a lot of people did their first numbers on like ever there. Like Fiarla did her first time in drag at that show. Samantha Genesis did their first time in drag, like performing. It was good.
Oh, it was.
I feel like open stages are like so good for new queens and for trying out new shit. And like, I feel like there should be more open stages, but I also understand that they're hard to produce because they don't make as much money.
Yeah. I mean, I started that because like when I started, it was like a time when the only way to get experience was to do like a 10-week competition or something, you know?
That's when I started.
Yeah. And so like, I was like, let's make it like maybe a little less intense than that, you know?
I remember I literally it was Miss Everything for 10 weeks and then took a week off and then went right into Drag Wars, which was, I think, felt like about 36 weeks.
Oh my God.
And I remember every week Mimi would be like, Shantae, you both stay. And I'd be like, another week.
Yeah, my first competition show was actually Songbird. Before I did drag, I did cabaret for a little while, and so I got eliminated the first night because I was not ready. I was like, this is my first time on stage, Is this a good idea? Like, I sing at tavern. Is that the same thing as this?
Kudos to you, though. That's just throwing yourself right in.
Well, then I came back for season 11 and made it halfway, and I was like, I'm the Miss Vanjie of Songbird.
Yes. Yes.
I eliminated first, then came back for season 11 and made it halfway. So clearly.
Stepping off the stage, Beary.
Yes. And then eyeliner. Eyeliner is the Alyssa Edwards of Songbird because she was fifth alternate like both times she did it.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's like in Miss Everything, I was third, and then Drag Wars, I was second, and that was the last competition I did. So I have to pick the next one carefully because I'm gonna win. So I was like third.
That's what you think. Next thing you're like, I have this in the bag, and then Buff Chick drops through the ceiling and is like, this is mine.
That would be how my life goes. But they deserve it, so be okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, Patty Lou Stone said I did one of my first lip syncs at Front Street Dive Devil Drag.
Oh.
And Denial hosted that one. And then Bretso said in Old Taboo they put the subwoofer behind the plywood wall in the DJ.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah,
that one was so bad. That made no sense. Like you had to like I remember there were shows where it's like, can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Is everything going? And like the person in the sound booth was like waving emphatically.
Oh, they would
the person on the stage can't see them.
They would like poke their head out like, what?
Yeah.
And like not like poke their head out like a window or whatever. Like they literally like exit the booth and like hang onto the door frame with one arm and be like, hi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I remember there's times there'd be music playing at the bar and then a show happening at the same time, and it would just like, what is happening in here?
My favorite thing is when there'd be like overlap of two different events. And this is true of like a lot of bars, but like I love when there's like a puppy play circle, like that's being interrupted by a Stonewall game. Like it's just my favorite thing.
Yeah.
These juxtapositions of the queer community like next to each other.
Oh yeah. They used to do in the basement of Old Taboo, they used to have a all furry dance party. And I
really?
Because one time I had decided to take some illicit substances and just see where my night went. And I needed a time to cool off in a bathroom. And I went downstairs. I just saw this giant like room full of furry dance party, and I was just like, oh.
Okay. But that was downstairs at Taboo?
Yeah, they had it downstairs.
I've never seen that space used. It's like always empty and full of tables.
Well, that was the only time I saw it used, and I thought it was because I had taken this certain thing. The next day, I was like, "Yeah, I saw like this crazy shit in the basement." They're like, "Yeah, that was real."
That was real. Oh my god! The last time that I like just kind of let the night take me somewhere, I just was like, I'm just gonna like go with it and just like enjoy being drunk and just like. Not sober. Let's see where this goes. I wound up at Moriarty's upstairs.
Oh no!
Doing karaoke with a bunch of straight people. It was a very cool night. It was a lot of fun. I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
I did that once and ended up in Chicago. So, you know.
How did you get to Chicago? Did someone drive you? Did you take a bus?
I apparently took a plane. You know. I don't drink anymore.
This is the thing that like I don't understand. Like I was in college. I blacked out a few times in my life. Like I've had problematic drinking experiences, but like when I've blacked out, I become like a bed-seeking missile. I'm like, I want to go home now. Like I'm like I've like had times where I remember walking home. Just the first half of walking home. And I remember times where I like remember calling an Uber and being like, I need to go upstairs and close up my tab. And then I woke up the next morning with my credit card at home in my bed. And I was like, well, I just become busy. So people who are like, oh yeah, I got blacked out and I like stayed on the dance floor for another 8 hours. And I'm like,
oh, that's me. I turn into the devil.
Yeah.
I get this energy and I'm just up and just looking for ruckus.
Yeah, no. Sounds dangerous.
Barry's like, no, I just want bed.
Like taboo and bars open again because all our tolerances are going to be nothing. I'm going to get 2 frosés and be like, let's go to Moriarty.
Karaoke with some straight people. But, but no, like, I feel like this is all going to be over. We're going to go out to brunch and then we'll be like tanked by like 2 p.m. and be in bed by 3.
I had to stop drinking at drag brunches for that reason because they'd be like, you want a mimosa? And I'm like, I guess one doesn't hurt. Then they'd be like, all the straight people are buying me shots. And then
yeah. Oh, I've actually had that before, like where have you ever had people buy you drinks in like a succession that's like way too fast? Like you're like double fisting because like you just bought a beer or like someone just bought you a beer and then someone else bought you a beer and you're like, this is fine. Everything will go well tonight. I have no worries about this.
Yeah. There's always that one drink I'm like, and now we're like switching the gears into the different personality. It is the worst times, and like there's been so many times I've met people I don't remember, and then they're like, we talked for like an hour and a half, and I'm like, I bet that we did.
No, there's people who are just like, oh yeah, we met at this night, like, and I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Or no, my favorite is like when it's like you know someone and you're like, how do I know this person? Is like you were drunk and you like had this full-on conversation. Like one person was like, you gave me your business card and told me you were a drag queen and told me to come to your show, and then walked away, and that was the entire extent of the conversation. I was like,
I remember
okay.
There was one time I really wanted to listen to Lily St. Queer's album for some reason when I was out. And I was like trying to pirate it on my phone or something. I was trying to like download it on my phone at like the bar. And it wasn't making sense. And I thought like I called her a couple times.
Okay, but like seriously though, because everyone, so Philadelphia or I guess Pennsylvania has legalized marijuana for medical purposes, and a lot of folks who have anxiety like are smoking a lot more because they're home because of all of this. So I really, really need for Lily St. Queer to release her single, I'm Too High for This. Because yes. I feel like that would be a mood for a lot of people right now in quarantine.
Oh yeah.
I actually read this study that said that that marijuana, or I saw the headline for this, I didn't read the actual study, that said like marijuana reduces your chances of like getting COVID-19. And the first comment was like, yeah, because you don't leave your couch.
Like, I can't talk to my roommate.
I should probably go back and watch that though. But have you all heard that song?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. It's
too high for this.
I just cannot deal with it. I'm too high for this. I can't handle my shit. So yeah, Lily, get on that. Put it on iTunes or something. We all need this. We need it now more than ever. This is your imperative.
And listen to their album too. I think it's called Easy Thievery. I think.
Interesting. I did not know that they had an album
it's
out.
Really good. I like.
You sound really confident about that, Onyx.
It is. I'm not.
You sound really confident,
but I know it's good.
Well, I heard that the show that Lily and Fahrenheit did the other week, that Fahrenheit sang live for the first time. Mm-hmm. He has a really good voice, and I was like, I did not know this. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this now because I missed that night.
Oh, I need to hear that. I need to see that.
Yes. Terry says that space is used a lot for Allo shows, right? Yes, that the stage is used for Allo show Dragorama every Monday night, which I definitely miss that. Like, so one thing that I really love about going to Dragorama is like because it's an open stage and it's the only weekly open stage. Like, you get to see like a bunch of new queens who like don't really know anything. So it's like that. I used to go like at least once a month just to like see who's performing, who's
totally.
Well, it's fun to meet so many like I met so many of like the newer queens there, and there's so much like like the work these queens put into Dragorama like surpasses
Yeah,
the queens are doing. I'm like, this bitch
totally.
had 4 reveals. She had a scene change. She had like
Hmm.
Well, I feel like there's actually this kind of like this increase of like production value and then a decrease like when you first start out because you're like, I'm going to do high production numbers every single time. And then you start getting booked regularly and you're like, this is not sustainable.
I'm just gonna like slit my own throat and call it a day. It is so true though. Like you kind of miss like once you get into like really like in it for a couple of years, you miss like how exciting everything was.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind
of every number's a new number.
Every number's a new number, and like you got to find like that kind of. You have to. Sometimes it's like hills and valleys for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I love going to like the small shows. Like you need to like every once in a while go to that show that doesn't have a packed audience, so you can really sit there and just like absorb the performances.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm like there is like like a baby queen is like, well I guess not a baby queen's long term, but a newer queen is like the energy and the effort and like the amount of time they put into their work. Ugh.
Be like Bette Midler, like sucking their youth out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's like the right before we all went into quarantine, with Devil Drag, I started doing the pre-show, which was like I put out an application for newer performers who want to get into producing to like, apply to and pitch their show, and like the pitches that we got were amazing, and it's like, like some of the applications were just like so well thought out and like the passion is there. And so it's really exciting,
Yeah, absolutely. I love to see new performers because also like, I think when you do get into that kind of rut where you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do next, like to see what other people are doing and to feel inspired and get ideas and like be like, oh my God, like this inspired me to do this. And like, it's just, it's where I get my energy from. Like, I feel like I'm more of a homebody since I became a drag queen, but like at the same time, like I'm out more than I ever have been.
And that's the hardest part of once you're like getting booked a lot and like doing more gigs, like you kind of lose the energy to like, I don't want to create a new number right now. I want to sleep. Like,
so I started producing at the same time I started like being in a show. So I linked up with Samantha Satan and Mercury, and we like tagged in Icon and Ron Binary and Paula Dean White, and now Yari's part of the show. And we started doing Gender Query, and so like that was my first like really like professional gig, and it's because like Samantha Paris and I got together and just like we're gonna do this, and so I went from like being a brand new queen with like 3 songs to having a monthly show where I had to do 2 songs, and it was like so much.
It happens really fast. Like once you start taking off, it's like when, like you said, like you're like, this is my first time in drag. And you're like, now I have a weekly and I travel for gigs.
I still haven't started traveling for gigs, but that's like, I don't even have a car. I'm like, I haven't taken a lot of things on because I'm afraid of how much it's going to be.
And it's a lot. That's the thing I struggle with is I'm bad at saying no to things for like drag related. I'm like, I can do 4 shows in one day.
Oh, Paula heard her name.
Paula!
Hi, Paula.
I was literally talking with someone last night how much I love Paula. Oh, Paula, you remember in New York when, I don't think Paula can hear this. I guess they can hear this. We shared a room together when we went to DragCon with Bird events, and I literally like had to leave the room. I was fucking laughing so hard.
Paula is one of those performers that I could just sit and watch for hours. Like
I could want to talk to Paula for hours.
Not even performing, just give her a mic and put her on stage.
Literally, just.
We love you too, Paula.
Paula, my unofficial drag wife. Oh.
And then Samantha said, then we bought lighting, sound, and camera. I missed that.
Yeah, for real.
Although I feel like everyone now has lighting, sounds, and microphones and stuff because of these digital. The first thing I did, like once I got like my first paycheck after quarantine, was I bought a ring light because I was like, if I'm gonna start doing like shows and stuff, I need some like better lighting than this. My makeup mirror and cell phone are not cutting it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh, I should get a ring light.
But speaking of, yes, you should, if you can afford it. You know, like that's also real. Like sometimes you just can't afford to like invest in things.
You know, I had to get a wig was the first thing I had to buy in quarantine because my brother picked me up in Philly. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go to my parents' house just for like, you know, the 2 weeks of quarantine. I thought it was. So I have like 4 pairs of pants and 2 shirts this whole time. I wear the same thing every day.
Yeah. Well, since we're on the topic, one of the reasons that I wanted y'all to come on the show is because you all started producing Cutthroat Queens as an online show that was in a different format than any of the other digital shows.
Very different.
And like that,
you can say that.
And it's great because it's like the way that you do it in stages. And I don't know if one of you wants to explain to the audience like how it works, because I'll probably mess it up.
I was like, that would be me. Because Onyx doesn't know how it works. No. So basically, it's on like show day, we have 3 contestants, and at noon for the digital version, at noon we release the challenge that they've been issued. They don't know what their challenge is until noon. And then we also put up the sabotages. So if you've ever seen the TV show Cutthroat Kitchens, it is exactly like that, but with drag, or performance art, you know. And so we release the 5 sabotages usually. So it'll be something like cosplay, and one of the sabotages is you can only do a black and white look. Or it's a dance number, you have to do it with your legs tied together, you know, something like that.
I saw that show. It was so good. The last 5 Cutthroat Queens I saw was when everyone was tied together.
The porcelain. That was a good one. But yeah, so we tied people up a lot for this show.
An artist,
Pretty Girl, and Porcelain were literally tied together.
Driftwood too. I don't even know what that was.
Yeah,
one of the best numbers.
It was a broken off chair leg. Yeah. But yeah, so basically during that show was, God bless anyone that was there and saw that shit live, because it was a special night, we'll say. But yeah, so the digital version, it's at noon we release the sabotages. Now, normally for the live show, we have a budget. So we would basically say like, oh, our budget is this much. So everybody starts with that amount, and the contestants bid on the sabotages to give them to their opponents. But we wanted to create a paid gig opportunity. So we basically said, okay, the sabotages are going to be bid on by the audience. And so there's 5 hours that they have until 5 p.m. The audience bids on the sabotages and then, you know, pays via Venmo. And the highest bid gets to assign it to whichever of the contestants they want to. So like some of the competitors have like brought their fans out strong to be like, we're bidding on all of the sabotages and giving them to one person, you know?
And it's like, I'm going to bid on this.
Yeah. I was gonna say we've had somewhere the contestants anonymously bid in the message board themselves, which is fun. And then at the end of the sabotage auction, we announce who gets which sabotage with their assigned challenge, and then they have 2 hours to complete the challenge, film it, edit it, and get the video up. And then the audience votes via likes and heart reactions and tipping via Venmo to the performers. And at the end of the night, we have a winner.
I've actually won the bid before, like I think once or twice. And then Onyx messaged me, who do you want to give it to? Because you won. And I didn't see it till after the show was over. This happened twice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we gave it to all of them, or to several, like multiple people.
I think we gave it to all of them. We're like, we'll just give it to
It
everybody.
was like, they can all do this one. It's fine.
I did, and then I'm like drinking and hanging out. I'm like no longer sober,
Yep.
and then Onyx like messages me on, and I also have 2 Facebooks because I have my personal Facebook and my drag Facebook. So like,
yeah,
depends which one's logged onto Messenger, because if I'm logged onto my personal page and you message my drag page, it doesn't always like notify me.
you don't.
They're like completely ignorant to what's going on, and then I'm like, shit, I was supposed to reply to this 3 hours ago.
I remember being like, Mary's not answering. Like, what do we do? We're like, let's give it to them all.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry. And Onyx is like, I do it all the time. It's fine. That makes it feel better, honestly.
The amount of times
we make it work.
I have missed a time-sensitive message. My God.
Oh, yeah.
I actually, like, literally, since we've been in quarantine, like, if people are coming to drop stuff off, I'll, like, literally give them my phone number and be like, don't Facebook message me. I'm not going to see it. It'll be standing outside forever. Like, or you could, like, knock on the door. People, like, don't knock on the door anymore or, like, ring the bell. They're, like, they'll just stand there and text you and, like, wait.
That is like a thing nowadays. Even, like, without quarantine, like, no one's knocking on doors anymore. Oh,
if my doorbell rings, I immediately assume I'm about to die. Like, I immediately assume someone's here to kill me.
I assume I have a package.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, like, we had to put a sign on the door to, like, tell the delivery drivers to, like, press the button. It's like, we're home. Please don't give us a slip saying, like, we're all home. Like, where else would we be?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Where would we be? Yeah.
That's why I live on Broad Street, so I can't get stuff delivered because they just leave it on Broad Street.
Yeah.
And like it's gone within seconds.
Well, like someone the other day, like we were home for like all day, and I got a package delivered at like noon, and then I went outside at like 3:00, and there was a package sitting on the stoop. And I was like, so in the past 3 hours, I got another delivery, and you just left it on the stoop. You didn't knock. You didn't ring the bell. You didn't even give it. Like, you didn't even try.
Sorry, you did not even try. Oh.
But thank you for your service, because you are out there making sure that the world is still running. So I'm not going to be too mad at you, and I'm not going to be a bitch about it or be a Karen. Like, thank you for your service. Like, we appreciate it.
Still got the package.
Yeah, well, everyone's always like, we're so grateful for nurses and doctors, and it's like, yes, absolutely, but also keep the same energy for like grocery store clerks and mail people, like
trash collectors. God bless.
Yes. This every other week recycling collection is killing me, because I have more recycling than trash, and so like we have like an overflow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, same.
But it could be worse.
Could be worse.
Oh, we have a question from Samantha, and actually, we're going to start wrapping up this show. So if you have any questions for us, drop them in the comments, and we'll try to answer them before we end the show. Samantha asked, "Where is the weirdest places you've produced or performed shows at?"
Oh my God!
Weirdest place I've produced a show at is in Kensington, in the middle of a warehouse, straight up like.
I got booked to do a home. Oh, it cut out. Oh, am I in? Oh, I'm in.
You're good.
I got to do a home gig in Cape May as Riff Raff.
What does that mean?
It was me, Maria Topcat, and we literally just went into like these people's home, and like there was like 4 of them, and did like a Rocky Horror number, and then left. It was the weirdest thing.
Yes.
We got paid. Like, you want to come out with us? So we're like,
no. Absolutely not.
Zip wrap. I was bald then, and I had glued like swag on my head.
Oh my goodness.
That was it.
What about you, B? Oh, you said the warehouse. I forgot.
Yeah, I did also, like, one of my bosses at my very normal day job was like, I need a drag queen that was willing to go into an office, interrupt the workday, and like wish my friend happy birthday. I'll pay them like this much. And I was like, and she came to me, she's like, I feel like you're the person that has this hookup. And I was like, I absolutely am. I was like, well, give me a second. And so I connected her with Eric Jaffe, who was like, yes, please. And so
she knows
it was good. So like, Yeah, exactly. She's like, I need somebody that can sing and that is willing to just cause a complete ruckus. And I was like, I have the person for you.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
One of the weirdest things that I ever did was like I rented out like a bat mitzvah space essentially, like it's like a little like storefront that's like used for like weddings, bat mitzvahs, family reunions, and I was like, I'm just gonna do a show here. So like I like approached them and was like, I'll give you 10% of whatever we earn, like on a random weeknight that you're not using the space. And she was like, cool, let's do it. And it was like, it was very strange because the lighting was completely wrong and I did not have any equipment at that point. So I was like, it was like all overhead lighting. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? But I loved working with her. She was amazing. And I was thankful for her to use the space. But I was like, this is not really set up for this kind of show.
Performance.
Those are kind of fun though when you show up and they're like, we have a boom box and one of those toys that kids have. Like, what can you do?
Yeah, theirs was a little bit more advanced than that, but they had a projector, and if I had known there was a projector there, I would have used that the way that like Sasha Velour uses it, like as like a spotlight. We could do like animation stuff. But I was like, this is. I found out like the day before that it was all overhead lighting, and I was like, oh, I should have asked about that earlier. Like when you're producing a new venue, there's so many things you have to ask that you forget about sometimes. Yeah. You're like, oh my gosh. But I think the most fun, and this is actually the weirdest, but it was also one of the most fun. Someone reached out to my Instagram and was like, do you do like brunches? And I was like, yeah, I can do a brunch. And they're like, we'd like you to produce a brunch for my birthday in the Ritz-Carlton residences. And I was like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes.
It was like on the second floor, like the part that's like overlooking Dilworth Plaza. And like it's just this big with all glass walls overlooking the plaza and City Hall and like a little balcony. You could go out and like literally be outside. And and our screening room was a movie theater.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like our green room, our backstage space. But the speaker was like this like tiny like roll-in speaker, and it was like it was a big speaker, but it wasn't big enough for the size of this room. But we made it work. I was like, no live singing this time. We're just gonna do all lip sync numbers because this is not gonna work. But it was me, Icon, Yari, and Vane, and that was a fun show. That was a fun show.
Sounds like a good group. One of my friends lives in the Ritz-Carlton, and so I know exactly what room you are talking about, and that is a massive room for a single speaker.
That is like a
it was very big.
Has like some venues like that where they, you don't always get certain venues treat you certain different ways. And I remember I did one show in Boston where they were like, "What's your rider?" And I was like,
"Oh, rider."
I was like, well, now that you ask.
I would like all green M&Ms, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I've never been asked this question before.
Yeah, well, and that's also like why a lot of queens go to New York City, because like you get paid a lot more. Like there's like something happening every night, and Philly's just like a much smaller scene that's still like kind of growing. But we definitely need more.
Have tried to get the New York City vibe here, but the issue is we're in Philadelphia, and that is New York City.
But like we could also do the same things that they're doing if more venues offered budgets to producers instead of just being like, we'd like you to bring people here to spend money, but we're not going to give you any of that money.
Yeah, like figure it out. Oh God, that is true.
Oh. And then Patty Lou Stone said that was a fun show. My hip pads made their debut. That was for the like create your own space one, not the Ritz-Carlton, but the other one. It was an all live singing show I did with my bandmate Jeremy Adam. We made a little duo band called MDMA Ringwald, and that was the first show we produced together. We actually had another show like scheduled for like St. Patrick's Day, but then all this happened. So we're on pause.
Oh my gosh. This really, I was supposed to go to Cancun at this point in time.
Oh my gosh.
My birthday's on Thursday. So I'm supposed to be in Cancun for my birthday, but there's no place I'd rather be than in my childhood bedroom in Massachusetts. So.
Dressed like a Bratz doll.
That's like just telling myself, like, don't think of what could have been, because it's just not.
Yeah.
Basically, my birthday is at the beginning of June, so I was like, we'll be out of quarantine by then. Let's rent a house in the Poconos, and like, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's what people have been asking me. They're like, "Do you want to come to our Rehoboth house?" Rehoboth house. I was like, nope.
Nope. That would be a no.
Nope.
Yeah, like there was talks about like how you can like start like once the curves goes like on the other side, you can start like connecting with other people. But like they're like, you really can't do more than a few people, because like if you have anything larger than like a core group of like 4 or 5 people, can you trust everyone in the group to just be seeing that group? So like it's like if every person is seeing a few people, it just becomes another thing again. So it's like, hopefully this will end sometime this decade.
And also, I don't want to be the first, like when things open back up, you don't want to be the first group out.
No.
Like the 4th or 5th group out. Like,
yes. If my boss is like, we are reopen as a state, everyone come back in, I'm be like, I'm gonna use about 2 weeks of vacation days because
I have corona. I can't come.
Yeah, I'm sick. I'm staying home. Sorry.
Yeah.
I hope that it's a slow rollout, because it's just.
I hope so. Like, Massachusetts opened back up today. And if you look at their numbers online, they should not have opened back up today.
I guess they'll find out soon enough when they see the numbers spike again. But let's not talk about these things. Are there any other questions that are not about this?
Any other questions?
Literally anything.
Literally anything. Yep. Literally anything. Change the subject.
Social security number.
And now we're going to have to wait like 5 seconds because the delays on these things. That's the one thing about live shows that drives me crazy is the delay. Like there's no collaboration in live singing, because like there's, even if you are on like a crystal clear, like, there's just always a delay. And so like what happens is you'll start singing with the other person, and then one person will slow down to like meet you. And and next thing you know, like, have you ever tried singing Happy Birthday in a Zoom call?
Yeah, it's so funny.
It sounds awful every time. Like, I remember terrible.
In F, we got Amy over here in G. She's in 6th. Like,
everyone's in a different key. Everyone is timing.
I know how Happy Birthday always goes, though.
But usually everyone. Yes, but also like when you're in person, not everyone's going a different speed.
Okay,
that's the big one.
You've never sung Happy Birthday with me before, because we have a strict meter that we attend to.
Right? I mean, it's like, come on, you can use Happy Birthday as the hand washing song. Like, are you speeding it up or slowing it down? Just sing at the regular speed. There's clearly a speed for that, right?
I feel like one show was making all these jokes because I went to music school. So he's like, well, I took it in rubato, so now we're at about 15 seconds over. I added too many melismas to my Happy Birthday.
Get out of here, Brezzo.
Brezzo says, row your boat. Not row your boat. Just row your boat.
Yeah, just row your boat.
Which brings me to the next question. How many chuggas are there in Chugga Chugga Choo Choo?
I think it's about 3. Chugga 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 Choo Choo, right?
I think
that feels right.
8. I think it's 8.
8.
Chugga 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 Choo Choo.
Oh my gosh.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
or Chugga Chugga Choo Choo. It's 2, 4, or 8. It has to be one of those numbers.
So I guess so you count the 2 chuggas as 1.
Sure, you could. In that case, then it's 1, 2, or 4.
Chugga 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 chugga.
What even is this show now? I don't know.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight now.
That has been the biggest thing. Last night, I was like going to bed at 3 a.m., which is the earliest I have gone to bed in weeks.
Oh no.
As I'm like closing my eyes and like drifting off to dreamland, a plane flies overhead really low.
Oh my god.
Who's flying?
Well, UPS.
Oh, okay.
So there's an app where you can track like what planes are overhead right now.
Okay.
And so I looked at that app and I was like, because I live in South Philly. I don't often have
track this plane.
well, I was like, am I gonna die? Like, is there an airstrike happening? Because there's not usually planes don't fly right over South Philly unless they're like landing in a territory that usually goes south of the city. But it's like to fly like right over it. And so I Googled like why would they be flying a different way? And so someone said like wind can sometimes cause them to take off from a certain runway. And then I saw everyone saying it's windy today, and I'm like, maybe they had to use that, but it was literally 6 planes in a row. So I then wound up going to bed at 5 a.m. instead of 3 a.m. because I was just like wide awake.
God.
Really loud planes.
Oh my
Yeah,
god. Like
that's fun.
Everyone's sleep schedule, like me and Franco talk like till like 5 a.m. every night, and it's just about nothing. Now I go to sleep at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I still have a day job, but like my schedule is flexible, so I still stay.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
that's good. I had a weird awakening where my white noise machine broke last night, so I woke up to silence, which was irritating.
Don't you just hate when you wake up to silence?
I hate it. My one friend once told me, he's like, I had to get rid of my white noise machine because I heard voices in the noise.
I don't know if that's the white noise machine's fault.
Ever since that, I'm like going to bed like, all right.
It's like, can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Start talking to ghosts. Oh my gosh.
No.
Well, I think that's a good ending point. We're almost at an hour and a half of live time. I think that was a long enough.
Of course we are.
Noise machine at home. Listen for the voices.
Yes, listen for the voices.
Besides voices in a white noise machine, is there anything else you'd like to plug before we end the show?
Oh yes, B. You want to do our special announcement?
So the first week of June. Yeah. So starting in June, we've been scheming. We're gonna be doing some like all-stars sort of stuff with Cutthroat Queens, but we are also going to be doing a one-off snatch game. So keep your eyes out for that. It's gonna be fun. And we will be making more announcements with the
Oh no.
Well, hopefully B will come back before we finish this broadcast, but if not, I think
we're going to do a snatch game, so keep your eyes open for who's going to be in it and what the details are.
Let me see if I can refresh. Oh, no, they're still frozen.
God, the Russians finally found B.
That's too bad. But hopefully, well, bye, B. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Onyx.
Thank you for having me. That was a lot of fun.
Of course. We will be back here next week at 7:30 on Tuesday. And next week's show is going to be with my bandmate, who I mentioned previously, Jeremy Adam, because it's Jeremy's birthday. And we're going to be joined by other members of the Hummingbird Theater Troupe, CJ Higgins and Patty Lou Stone. So check us out next week. It's going to be a great show, a birthday-themed show. So thank you, Onyx, for joining me. Thank you. Oh, and B's back.
I am. I was like, I just mic dropped that and left. I was like, snatch game, bye.
But thank you for joining me, Onyx, and we'll see you all out in cyberspace.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.